Good afternoon. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Gary Community School Board for March 12, 2026 to order. Would you please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May we have roll call?
Sure. Dr. Woods.
Present.
Attorney Lockett.
Present.
President Suggs.
Present.
And I am present. Mr. Johnson is not here. We have 4 members present.
With 4 members present, we have quorum in the legal meeting. We will now move on to item number 2, approval of the March 19th agenda. Get it up. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
March 12th. Yeah, just want to confirm that motion to approve the March 12th
The February.
agenda,
February.
the current today's
Oh, okay.
agenda.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Current agenda.
So it's been moved and properly second to approve tonight's agenda. Any discussion on this motion?
No.
Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes. I'd like to move item 5.5 out. Consent agenda. So I don't consent. So it's not consent.
So we have 3 members voting yes and 1 voting no.
That's
The
correct.
motion carries. Item number 3 on our agenda, Gary Ready snapshots. Ms. Chelsea.
Good evening,
Evening.
Dr. Stokes, school board members, and this great gathering here before me, as well as those tuning in virtually. My name is Chelsea Whittington, and I proudly serve as the Chief of Public and Community Relations for your Gary Community School Corporation. It's this time of the agenda that has come where we are able to highlight things that have happened and looking ahead positively in the district, the accomplishments of our youth, which is why we are always gathered here for the school board meeting for our youth. The first thing I want to talk to you about today is the highlighting of our swim team. Some people may not realize that we do have a swim team and that they are showing up and showing out in their respective areas. And if we have our director of athletics here, from whom we'll hear from later, that can attest to this, but one of our team members, Jesse Thomas, wrote in to make us aware that our students of the varsity boys and girls swim teams competed in the swim meet sectionals. And despite them not qualifying for the state championships, they put all the other schools on notice that next year will be their year. So we just want to clap it up for them for their showing up and doing well in the sectionals, not advancing, but that our swim team is still thriving. Next, I'd like to share the exciting news that some of our students and special pop scholars at Gary Middle School completed a new writing project, and they are now officially published authors. The name of the book is Leading with Impressions. And throughout this project, our students learned how to write, edit, illustrate, and they created a book that will be treasured as a keepsake for years to come. We're also happy to announce that as of last week, their book has been entered into a national book challenge, which will also help Gary Middle School with a chance to win funds for anything they need toward their literacy efforts. can we give our young people at GMS a hand for publishing the book, Learning with Impressions? And if you'd like more information about it, it's posted on their Facebook page. You can reach out to GMS directly or on our website. We'll post the link to the book there as well. Attendance matters. And on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, I had the incredible opportunity to head over to Bethune Early Childhood Development Center, AKA the Baby School. And we were able to highlight our youngsters for 95% attendance or greater since August. And they had a total of 114 students that achieved that milestone, which is amazing. Antoinette Dixon and her team puts together a monthly traveling trophy and monthly events where we highlight attendance. And this is a photo of the students who won a t-shirt raffle, some of them, and they're posing. And if you want to watch the entire ceremony, it is on the Bethune and Gary Schools Facebook page and our YouTube page. So again, congratulations to Ms. Canty, Principal Canty, and the entire team for attendance. And the battle continues amongst our schools on who's going to win the Attendance Matters Award for the month of March. We are also excited to announce that we have re-engaged our partnership with One Church, One School. During the month of January, some of the representatives came into the district and met with Dr. Stokes, myself, Crystal, and others to talk about how they could get back involved in helping with our students. You may recall in years past how members of One Church, One School would come and participate in activities, walk our children to school, mentorship, and they have recommitted to do that again, and they are rallying their troops to get started with attending the events, providing mentors, and just being a part of our school community. So we just wanted to acknowledge that partnership and thank them in advance for what they're getting ready to do. Now, if you've attended previous school board meetings, the previous school board meeting, or have tuned in online, I made a prediction, and my prediction came true. We said we smelled a three-peat in the Steel City Knowledge Bowl, and I am here tonight to say mission accomplished. The Gary Westside Leadership Academy was victorious in the Steel City Knowledge Bowl. There they are, all smiles, but even better, they are here tonight. Would you please come forward, members of the Steel City Knowledge Bowl, along with their sponsor, Ms. Beverly Woodson. I'd like to also call up Dr. Stokes to just bestow them. They have medals, but we have medals for you too, because we want you to be doubly appreciated for all of your hard work. And for those students who were unable to attend, we will send the medals by you. I will read their names whilst we move forward with the program, and then Ms. Goodson has some good news to share. Here you are, Doc. And please stay for a photo. Everybody get it. Yes. Mr. Suggs, would you like to join? Any board member would you all like to join for the photo? All right. And our participants were Destiny Burnett, Jamie Jones, Michaela Hare, Joel Moore, Rachel Davis, Anaya Navarro, Kaylin Quarles, and Alicia Thomas. The team was coached and sponsored by Beverly Goodson, whose leadership and dedication continue to elevate academic excellence and competitive scholarship at Westside Leadership Academy. A round of applause for the 3P champions. So we're going to take a brief photo. You all can stay where you are, and then Ms. Goodson, I invite you to the podium to share a little back history and one more bit of good news coming out of Westside. I'd also like to acknowledge that our assistant principals are here, Dr. Janora Holmes and Mr. Marcus Muhammad.
No. I'm not gonna make nothing.
All right. If you all can face this way, for those who are watching on camera.
Now, why do you think you have to take this?
All right. On the count of three, we're gonna say three P's. 1, 2, 3.
Three P's.
Yes. Thank you. This is good set.
Whatever.
I just want to say thank you, especially to these children. Everybody thinks the Knowledge Bowl is an easy competition, but what happens is they give me a book that has over 600 pages, and I have to go through that book and make questions for these students to learn. So I made how many questions, Jane?
2,400 questions.
That's right.
And out of that amount of questions, our students didn't know 60. That was it. And so I am so proud of you guys, and thank you for having me as your coach.
All right.
And a little bit of more news. So our ROTC department, nobody ever talks about our ROTC department. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week, I had the pleasure of being the chaperone for the JROTC ROTC department. Our students traveled to Fort Knox, Kentucky, where out of 300 schools, they were chosen to represent and post the colors for Brigadier General Maurice Barnett, who was doing a transformation command ceremony. So he was leaving Fort Knox to go to Colorado, and he picked Westside JROTC to represent him and post colors at a ceremony. I will post pictures later, but I just want them to be recognized also. So that's why I'm wearing this black t-shirt today in recognition of Westside JROTC department.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for always sharing the good news. You never get tired of it. And I'll make sure that I reach out to Barnett, what we call him Mo, and just thank him for that. And I thank the board and Dr. Stokes for this opportunity. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, board members?
I do have a comment. I was fortunate to go to the Steel City Knowledge Bowl for a part of it. And I just want to say the team, they are amazing. I studied Afro-American Studies in college, and their knowledge is amazing. I was like starstruck, because even when they first started asking questions, they already hit the buzzer. I mean, they were really on top of it. It just really shows when you're prepared and you work hard, the difference that it makes. I just want to say congratulations to the team.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say congratulations to them also. I just had a question when you talked about the swim team. Where do they practice at?
The YWCA of Northwest Indiana, and Paint, were they also
They were in Munster.
in Munster, and now that the pool is back up and running here in Gary, that's where they are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move on to item number 4 on our agenda. Dr. Woods, would you read the statement, please?
Absolutely. And again, good afternoon,
Hit your
everyone.
mic button. Thank you.
Statement on public comments. Pursuant to IC 5-14-1-5-3, the Gary Community School Corporation Board of Trustees welcomes comments from the community. As a result, the agenda for each regular meeting provides time for public expression. The period of public expression is limited to 3 minutes per individual and 30 minutes total discussion of items on the agenda or to express concerns relative to the operation of the school city, school board actions, and other items of general educational interest. If there are many people wishing to address the board, we may limit the amount of time a person may speak. Comments shall be directed to the board, not to individual board members. Statements shall not be abusive or argumentative. Persons making comments shall not debate statements made by other persons. It shall not be permissible to orally present or discuss complaints against individual employees of the Gary Community School Corporation at any Board of School Trustees meetings. Issues relating to personnel, individual circumstances, or an individual school will be referred to the building principal or an appropriate administrator in an attempt to resolve the issue prior to an appeal before the board. Speaker cannot transfer their remaining time to another person. The board president will enforce these rules and may take actions necessary to maintain order at the meeting. Such actions may include, but are not limited to, interrupting the speaker if the statement is too lengthy, unduly repetitive, or otherwise violates the rules. The president may terminate the address of any speaker who violates these rules. Limit the total amount of time devoted to public comments if there is a large number of people wishing to address the board, or if there's a large agenda of other business before the board.
Thank you, Dr. Woods, and I would just remind everyone of what we just heard, that there are no personnel matters to be discussed. If we decide to discuss it, I will terminate your discussion. First on our list is Carolyn Gearing.
Dr. Stokes, board members, good evening. The mission statement that we have for the Gary Community School Corporation states that we do what is best for students today, tomorrow, and every day. It says that our mission is to consistently prioritize the needs and the interests of our students, being committed to providing our students with the tools and opportunities they need to thrive. Our commitment to them goes beyond the sphere of academic success. We also value their holistic development, including their emotional well-being and social skills. So to remove the current principal at Westside Leadership Academy negates the content of this mission statement.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, I wasn't clear evidently. There are no personnel matters to be discussed at this meeting.
Do we have a legal opinion on that?
I'm sorry, we just read the statement. Okay, we're not gonna be able to discuss that, ma'am.
Okay.
And again, in the statement, it asks for you to talk to the administrative staff.
Mr. President, given the community, knowing about the termination that was on the agenda and the community,
It wasn't a termination.
that was on the agenda last time, and that people want to talk about it, I don't understand how they can't discuss it. I know maybe we shouldn't be discussing it now, but I had no idea that anybody would be stopped from doing it. So I'm assuming you got a legal opinion about that. Could you speak to it, Shalice?
So legal opinion is not necessary. The matter was on the agenda at the last meeting. There was public comment at the last meeting. It's not on the agenda this evening, and the statement indicates that there would be no discussion of personnel matters nor items that were not on the agenda. Not a legal opinion necessary. The meeting agendas are posted on the website in advance of the meetings, and this was on the agenda for the last meeting.
So Shalice, are you saying that they can't talk about anything unless it's on the agenda?
I've made, the statement is what it is.
We're gonna move
If
on.
there's any further discussion, I'll defer to the chair.
You've asked for her to respond, and she did. Marcus Mohammed.
If we're gonna keep the community involved, we should keep the community involved. That's just my opinion. And if we're gonna make decisions that affect people to the point that they wanna come out here and address us, they should be able to, and that's just my opinion.
Okay.
Not legal, just my moral opinion.
Good afternoon to all of our board members, superintendent, school district personnel, students, and citizens of Gary. I come before you today hoping that you will hear my words and right or wrong. I'm a product of Gary Community School Corporation. I attended Washington, Banneker, Tolleson, and the mighty West Side, of course. After graduating from Southern University, I was committed to return home and serve the community that raised me. I've worked in this district for 29 years. I worked at Roosevelt, Tolleson, Lew Wallace, Bailey, Dunbar Pulaski, New Tech, Work Emerson, and Westside. So I've worked all over the city and crossed paths with great educators, mentors, one of them being my mother. And I've seen many people come and go from outside of our community. With the magic potion, I've watched our school close. Because I cannot speak about personnel issues, I just want to leave you with one statement. No one from outside of our community is coming to save us. No one from outside of our community is coming to save us. It is up to us to save us. Westside is the only high school left in our school district. In the past 8 years, there have been 5 different head principals. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will move on in our agenda to item number 5, consent agenda. I will entertain a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Is there any discussion on the motion on the floor?
Yes, there is. I asked that we remove item 5.5. I did this before, Shalice, you weren't here, but I did it, in the not approving the approval of the March 12th agenda. I am making this motion because I think that we should discuss when central office is asking for $16,000.
There's a motion on
for-
the floor.
I'm discussing my motion.
Oh, I thought you said.
Oh, I'm
making this
discussing why I'm not approving it, or what, in terms of what my motion is to consent, why I think we should not consent, is that there are, $16,000 worth of central office, conference experiences, as well as a $3,000, for JROTC military ball, and I would like to discuss those items with the public.
Any further discussion on the motion?
Well, I know, well, let me just say, and also my understanding is that if, I ask to get it removed from the consent agenda, then it is
No, we voted and it takes majority vote.
to pass it, but my understanding is that,
Your
Shalice,
understanding is correct.
Shalice, please, let me know.
What is the question?
The
I'm
question
not
is,
clear.
if there is a consent agenda, and I ask that something is pulled from the consent agenda and be set over for full consideration, does there have to be a majority, vote for that to happen?
Well, the motion is, as I understand it here, is to approve the consent agenda. If you are not in favor of that, then you would vote no. Now, I don't know that what you're asking is a separate motion to remove something from that agenda. The motion that I heard was to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, so you weren't here at first when I asked that it was removed in terms of in item 2. So just for going forward, my understanding is that if one individual board member makes a motion to move an item from the consent agenda, then it's removed, discussed, and voted on later, but not that.
Well, there's the motion, if you make a motion to remove something and the motion is seconded and that motion does not pass, then it does not pass. There's
Okay,
not an
so-
automatic removal when you make a motion.
Okay, so maybe that's, and again, thank you for that, Shalice, because my understanding was for the consent agenda, that if there wasn't full consent, then it wouldn't be on the consent agenda, it'd still be on the agenda, just for full consideration later, so the items can be discussed.
For clarity, you actually didn't make a motion, you voted no. That was 1 vote out of 4. That was it. You continued to speak out of turn about why you voted no, which was out of order. And now you have a chance to vote and you're out of order again.
And I probably am out of order because
You
maybe
know
I
you are.
maybe because I don't understand the order, so that's why I'm asking for clarity from Shalice. My understanding is that if it's a consent, this is what I'm saying, not for any other item. Just if we're saying we all consent that we're just gonna do all 5 of these on one vote, then we can do it. If there's not consent, meaning one person says, no, I want this item pulled out of consent agenda, that's not for a vote. That's just, okay, that's pulled out because it's not consent.
Consent items.
And then we discuss it and vote on that item later.
Consent items were placed in the agenda, and one vote doesn't outrule 4 votes or 5 votes. One vote is just one vote.
I don't think you're understanding what
I
I'm
understand
saying.
clearly
I'm
what
not
you're
saying
saying.
that it's gonna be passed or not passed based on what I'm saying to take it out. I'm saying that if it's a consent agenda,
Not
if
chiming
we
in
all
my
go
line,
consent,
Board
please.
President. So I think what she's asking, and you correct me if I'm wrong, she wants to take it out and put it somewhere else in the agenda, and at that time, have it voted on separately. Is that what you're trying to do?
That's exactly what I'm saying, that my understanding of the law is that if one person doesn't consent, then it doesn't go on the consent agenda. Not that it goes up for a vote if we can have it on the consent agenda or not, just that if we all are in agreement that it's just on the consent agreement, that it's routine things that you do, then one person wants to flesh it out and discuss it further, then that's what would happen. I don't understand why we don't want to discuss things, especially when we're talking about the finances of this district. I just really can't understand what the problem would be in wanting to discuss why there's $16,000 worth of field trips. That's all. I'm sorry, conferences.
So if I'm understanding correctly, and I do apologize for my tardiness, was there a motion to remove an
There was a
item from the
motion
consent
to approve
agenda?
tonight's agenda at the beginning. That was the
Okay.
motion. And there was a vote of 3 yes and 1 no. And the motion carried. The board member continued to speak toward their no vote and state why they voted no, which was not in order.
Okay, and so if I'm understanding Member Lockett, Attorney Lockett's request, or what she's trying to figure out, when can something be removed from the consent agenda to discuss separately? If I'm understanding that correctly, right?
Yes, thank you. And so what I'm trying to get at is, does that require a majority vote? Because my understanding is it doesn't.
In my understanding of parliamentary procedure, when you have a motion on any of these items and you get a majority vote, that motion passes. If you make a separate motion to remove something and that motion does not pass, then it does not pass. There's not an automatic removal of something from the consent agenda because of the not having a unanimous vote, because that's what I'm kind of hearing.
That is what you're hearing. That is what you're hearing. And so if you're saying that that's not true, I know that based on my interpretation, I have a different view from that. So maybe I'll reach out to the PAC about it, but we can move on. If we're not gonna discuss it, just know, community watching in here, I would like to discuss all finances out loud in front of all of you. Apparently all of us do not wanna do that. So let's go forward.
May we have roll call, please?
Sure. Dr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Suggs?
Yes.
Attorney Lockett?
No.
I guess I need to vote as well.
Yes.
I'm gonna say no as well.
So there's a vote of 2-2 on the consent agenda.
Yes.
The motion does not pass.
No.
So, then we can't pay our staff. We can't pay our staff somehow.
I think that if it's a no on the consent agenda, then we go through and discuss everything on there. I wouldn't think that, as you're just saying, Superintendent, that we can't pay our staff. At least for me, I'm saying no on that one item. Pay the staff, let's do that, that's routine.
There needs to be another motion as to how to proceed with the items in the consent agenda, since the motion to approve the items collectively as a consent agenda did not pass.
Okay, so then I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda minus item 5.5, which we will set over for separate consideration next.
There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second?
Second.
Motion has been properly made and second. Discussion on the motion?
Yeah, I just say that, I see no reason why we will vote no to this, so we can, as the superintendent just said, if we do vote no, then staff cannot be paid. I see no reason why punishing staff and not paying them and going through a whole rigmarole and having a big issue rather than discuss item 5.5. Thank you.
And specifically, as part of the discussion, item 5.5, the field trip and field conference experiences. What would you like? Is there something prior to the meeting that you would like?
So can I interject? You guys need to vote on all of the others real quick with the motion on the table and then separate it out.
There's a motion on the floor to
Can I
eliminate
ask a
5.5.
question just for clarity?
Still discussion there. Yes,
If we're
please.
separating one item out of the agenda, doesn't there need to be a motion to address that issue separately, that one item?
And that's what I was just about to address. Her motion is to approve the consent agenda minus or removing 5.5.
With
So,
consideration afterwards, after this vote.
So then, with the removal of that from the consent agenda, you would then have to take action on how you want to handle 5.5.
And understand, Attorney Tolbert, in part of the process was discussion on the motion on the floor. We had one board member speaking and discussing. I had attempted to speak and discuss. And after I finished, I was going to give other board members a chance to further discuss. And after the discussion, there's a vote.
Right, and so what I thought was about to happen is you were asking how to handle 5.5 is so that you can have an understanding how to proceed after this motion on the consent agenda.
I was just getting
minus
clarity on her
5.5
motion.
goes forward.
Yeah, I was attempting to get clarity on the motion. Any additional discussion on the motion on the floor? Hearing no discussion, may we have roll call for approval, please?
Dr. Woods?
Okay, so just for my sake, can we state the motion again so I'm clear what we're voting on?
Let me go ahead and get in there.
Thank you.
So the motion, as I understand it, is to approve the consent agenda to only include 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.6, and 5.7. Is that correct, Attorney Lockett?
That's correct.
Okay. And then Attorney Urban second the motion.
Yes. So, Dr. Woods,
No.
Mr. Suggs,
No?
Attorney Lockett,
Yes?
and I'm going to say yes.
So again, you have a motion that has failed. So there, at this point,
The motion fails. Is there another motion for the floor?
without any motions regarding
Uh,
5,
I had
consent
a
agenda.
motion.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So I make the motion that we approve item 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3.
So motion on the floor to approve items 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3. May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Is there discussion on this motion?
Yeah, I'll tell you why I made the motion. I made that motion because, it makes no sense to me that we will punish the teachers and, try to strong arm the other board members who just wanna discuss why central office is spending $16,000 on conferences, or what the conferences are. I don't understand why we are putting ourselves in a situation to be forced to, like I said, punish teachers by voting not to, not to approve the payroll register, just trying to get this conversation done. So that is why I made the motion to approve the payroll, which is approval of minutes, approval of accounts payable voucher register, and approval of payroll register. And then everything else we could discuss later.
Any further discussion on the motion on the floor? Hearing no discussion, may we have roll call for approval, please?
Dr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Suggs,
Yes.
Attorney Lockett,
Yes.
and I say yes, the vote is 4-0 in regards to items 5.1 through 5.3 on the consent agenda.
Would you give me the results again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the votes were 4-0 in regards to 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3.
With a vote of 4 yes and 0 no, items 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3 have been approved. Under consent agenda, is there any further action from the board?
I would move to have us vote on 5.4 to approval of the personnel report.
I second.
There's a motion on the floor, and it's been properly seconded to approve item 5.4 on the agenda. Discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, may we have roll call for approval, please?
Dr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Suggs,
Yes.
Attorney Lockett,
Yes.
and I say yes, the vote is 4-0 on
With a
number
vote,
5.4. Sorry.
with a vote of 4 yes and 0 against, item 5.4 has been approved. I'm sorry. Any additional action on consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, please.
since there appears to be initially no dissension on items 5.6 and 5.7, I would make a motion to approve those items.
I'll second.
There's been a motion on the floor to approve items 5.6 and 5.7 on the agenda. Is there a second? It has been properly seconded. Discussion on this motion, I'm sorry. Hearing no discussion, may we have roll call, please?
Sure, Dr. Woods,
Yes.
Attorney Lockett,
Yes.
I say yes, and Mr. Woods, I'm sorry, Mr. Suggs,
Yes.
all right, the vote is 4-0.
With a vote of 4 yes and 0 no, approval of item 5.6 and 5.7 has been approved. Any further action from the board?
Yes, I make a motion that we approve item 5.5.
There's a motion on the floor to approve item 5.5.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion on this motion?
Yes, thank you. Superintendent, could you tell us what the, this is all I wanted to do, what the trainings are, or the central office conference experience? There's one for 3.3 and 3.4 and 4.7 and 4.9. So I'm assuming, oh, well, 3.3 and 3.4 just happened. Did that happen already?
The IASA workshops?
Huh?
Are you talking about the IASA workshops?
Yeah.
Yes, that is, and Linda is not here, but that, Joe, can you come and talk about what you all did? It's basically the business officials workshop, and there are requirements, there are things they have to learn. For example, they had to learn about the new gateway system. But go ahead and talk about that a little bit, Joe.
Sure, the IASA workshop specifically on March 3rd and March 4th, and the upcoming workshops on April 7th through April 9th are attended by business officials across the state. They are specific to budgeting requirements and any changes in the laws and accounting procedures that will be expected from the business offices.
Okay, and it says one person, is that one, who's the one person?
Linda Zaborowski.
Okay, and so she went in and she's gonna go to the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and this, amount, $2,315.85, that's for conference meals and transportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Conference, and lodge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, and then, if we could hear more about, item number, well, the I'm sorry, what's IASBO stand for?
We do speak acronym, don't we? IASBO actually stands for the Indiana Association of School Business Officials. So anyone who works out of the business office is typically either a member and or attends for a variety of reasons. We are part of Region 1, which means we have Region 1 meetings that are floating meetings that happen all around our region on a monthly basis. However, this is the annual conference, which is where all business officials go for best practice, whether it's through HR, payroll, or a wide variety of topics specific to business officials.
Okay, and it's 3, it says here?
Yes,
Who's
ma'am.
that?
That is Dr. Stokes, that is me, Yolanda Svikovich, and Linda Zaborowski.
And it's 5,300 for one day?
No, that's for all 3 of us to attend. There's a pre-conference that starts on Wednesday, and the conference goes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay, because it just says 5 on here.
No, it says 527.
I know it says 5/5/26. Did you change it? Did I get it different?
No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong line, I apologize.
The conference is, I can give you the exact dates. 5/5 is a Tuesday, which means it's in French Lick, Indiana, and that will be for half day on the 5th, and then the 3 of us will be returning on May 8th.
So it's 5/5, 5/6, 5/7, 5/8.
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll get that corrected, and
Thank you, that makes more sense for $5,300. See, if we didn't have this conversation, then it would look like you were spending $5,300 for one day. And that would be a bad look for all.
it might be a bad look, and I don't discount what you're saying, but if it was required by the state, we would have to do it regardless, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay, and then if you could, also discuss the 2006 National Community Schools and Family Engagement Conference, that is 5/27 to 5/29, 3 staff for $8,000, a little over $8,000. Who's the 3 staff, and could you discuss what that conference is?
Sure, so one of our major grants in the academic department is the EFFECTS grant that we've had for a few years. And as a part of that grant, we travel across Indiana, but also there are national conferences that are part of the grant that we must attend. Natalie, her last name is escaping me. Hicks, thank you. She is the CEO, she's presenting there, and that's all of the local, there's 5 regions across the state. We all have to go down, and generally there is an office staff member, which is Jamila Adams, as well as a leader, that's myself and Dr. Craig, that will also be attending for those 3 days. Ms. Adams is also presenting at that conference. So that's the conference fee, the hotel, as well as the travel.
And this is grant funded.
Grant funded and required.
Thank you. And then just one more question in terms of the JROTC military ball for $3,216. I would think that the U.S. military have more money than us.
So, they are using their ECA funds to pay for this, and so in order to secure the event space, they had to do down payment for the event space, and they're using their fundraise monies for that. The students will pay the ticket cost, which is $30 for a student.
Okay, so this is money that they fundraise?
Yes.
So it's their money?
This is their money.
Thank you for that. I think it's very important that we stay fiscally responsible when it comes to school board funds and making sure that the most dollars in most ways goes to the children and our mission here. And I'm not saying that what you all are doing is not part of the mission. I'm just saying I'd like to discuss it and figure out what's going on. So then when you say this is something we're required to do, we'll say, fine, thanks. That's good. Thanks for explaining. That is all. Don't mean to be
Any additional?
throwing anybody's.
I do need to correct one thing though, this isn't the school board's fund, this is the money for children given through education fund like ADM or things, or taxpayer dollars or things of that nature.
I appreciate that.
Any additional discussion on the motion? May we have roll call for approval, please?
Sure, Dr. Woods,
Yes.
Attorney Lockett,
Yes.
I say yes, and Mr. Suggs,
Yes.
and the vote is 4-0 for item 5.5.
With a vote of 4 yes and 0 no, item 5.5 has been approved. Move on to action items on number 6. Ms. Svikovich, please.
Good evening, esteemed board members, Dr. Stokes, the community here present with us and those watching at home. This is simply a request for the board to approve the calendar for the 26-27 school year that was brought to the board last month for the school board meeting and has been posted and provided feedback.
Thank you. Any questions, board members? I'll entertain a motion for approval, please.
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor. May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, may we have roll call? Thank you.
Dr. Woods,
Yes.
Attorney Lockett,
Yes.
I say yes, and Mr. Suggs,
Yes.
the vote is 4-0.
With a vote of 4 yes and 0 against, item 6.1 has been approved. Dr. Treadwell? Thank you.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Stokes, and community. I'm here to ask for approval for, item 6.2, which is an MOU between Gary Community School Corporation and the Center of Workforce Innovations, for, the current school year and the upcoming school year. So this MOU is designed for, the district to partner with CWI to provide adult literacy instruction. If you remember a few board member meetings ago, we discussed wanting to have opportunities for our families to gain access to adult literacy programs, as well as high school equivalency programs. And CWI has a suite of resources, and they're actually here tonight, so if there are any questions, they are free to answer them. And they're wanting to be a partner with us to support the efforts that we're working towards to support our families.
May we hear from CWA, have any comments?
Good evening, esteemed board. My name is Samantha Smith, and I'm the Director of Adult Literacy and Training for Center of Workforce Innovations. Our headquarters recently transitioned here to the city of Gary. And a few months ago, had a chance to connect with some of your senior leadership, and we found a great deal of synergy in the work that we are doing and the activities that we want to do. I have had the pleasure of working with the FACE liaisons, as well as becoming a member of your Parent Partnership Council. And so we are really excited about some of the things that we are planning. I was recently invited to the community conference that we had, where again, we looked at the data and we aligned our efforts. And so this MOU and subsequent action plan, I believe will really make a difference here in the Gary community, not just for the students. I did share with them, I'm not interested in taking students out of this building. I want students to remain in high school. Our focus is going to be on the parents, because the parents are going to have the greatest impact on those students. So, with your blessing, that's the work that we commit to do here in this area.
Thank you. Any questions, board members? Before I entertain a motion on this item, I want to recuse myself from this item as I serve as Center of Workforce Innovation Board Chair. So I can't, but we can go ahead and entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, may we vote?
Yes, Dr. Woods,
Yes.
Attorney Lockett,
Yes.
I say yes, I know that you're abstaining, Mr. Suggs, and so the vote is 3-0 with 1 abstention.
With a vote of 3 yes and 1 abstention, the motion carries. Thank you.
I'm also requesting the approval of item 6.3. It's an MOU between the School-Based Health Network and Gary Community School Corporation, specifically Westside high school. As you guys are aware, throughout this year, we have been working to identify additional behavioral health or mental health partners. This particular organization will work alongside our school counselors and social workers, as well as Edgewater, to provide behavioral health or mental health support for our students. So they will provide a counselor to work in the school 5 days a week alongside our staff.
Any questions or discussion, board members?
Yeah, are they there all day?
Yes, they'll be there all day.
Just one person?
Yes,
West Side?
yes. It's a grant specifically for West Side.
Okay, and that's what my next question is, grant funded?
Yes.
Okay. How many counselors are there?
There will be one counselor from this organization.
But total?
In our school?
Yeah.
We have 5.
Additional? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU between School-Based Health Network and GCSC.
Board member Chantre Irving will second that motion.
It's been moved and properly second to approve the MOU between School-Based Health Network and Gary Community School. Any discussion on the motion? May we have roll call for approval, please?
Sure, Dr. Woods,
Yes.
Attorney Lockett,
Yes.
I say yes, and Chairman Suggs.
Yes, please.
All right, the vote is 4-0.
With a vote of 4 yes and 0 against, the motion carries.
Thank you. And my last request is for the approval of the affiliation agreement with the Methodist Hospital and the Gary Area Career Center. This MOU is been a long-standing one. It supports our students' ability to get hours towards CNA support. And so they work alongside the hospital and are able to gain the hours needed to become a CNA, or certified nursing assistant.
Any questions on the issue? I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And I'll second that.
There's a motion on the floor that has been properly seconded. Discussion on this motion. May we have roll call, please?
Sure, Dr. Woods,
Yes.
Attorney Lockett,
Yes.
Chairman Suggs,
Yes.
and I say yes, the vote is 4-0.
With a vote of 4 yes and 0 against, the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item 7. Dr. Treadwell.
So I did want to bring to our attention, the Indiana Department of Education recently passed the new accountability system for the entire state. This has not been a practice since prior to the pandemic. The last time we received a rating was in 2020. And so they ceased it at that time for a myriad of reasons. The pandemic, but also wanting to take a look at, was this the best way to assess the effectiveness of our schools across the state? And so they really wanted to move beyond just looking at standardized test scores to evaluate the effectiveness of our students. And so now what they have done is they've changed the policy as well as the approach to the A through F system. And so you guys are probably familiar with that language, but they've outlined some very specific changes that can really work in the benefit of a district such as ours that's growing and moving in the right direction and improving outcomes for students. And so what the initial goal was to ensure that we take a more holistic approach and look at how our students are doing. And so it's really around looking at the individual needs of each student in our district. And I'll get into the details of that in a little bit. Additionally, it's been added beyond the standardized test scores is where we will also be looking at the unique knowledge, skills, and experiences that students engage in across our district. And so now each school's letter grade will be determined on the average points generated by students. And again, I'll explain in more detail as we go. And so there are key milestones and areas of focus for each grade level. The first one is for kindergarten through 3rd grade. It's simply focused on literacy and math, the building blocks of a student entering into that space. making sure that they are prepared for success as they matriculate through each grade level. For 4th through 8th grade, it's focused on knowledge and skill development. So really moving them deeper into their academic capacity to be able to perform at grade level, understanding that those literacy blocks, literacy foundational skills and math foundational skills happen in kindergarten through 3rd grade. When we look at 9th through 10th grade, it transfers to knowledge and skill development as well as career engagement, really wanting our students to experience college and career readiness early in their high school career to promote that access and opportunity for them. And then last but not least, in 11th through 12th grade, again, focusing on knowledge and skill, but then credentials and then the experiences as well. We can go to the next one. And so in your folder today, I requested that this document that you see on the screen is there for you to look at a little bit more closely as it breaks out how every student can get specific points, which will go into the comprehensive overall averaged school grade. And so if we could just take a moment, I want to make sure I have mine in front of me. If we look at kindergarten through 3rd grade specifically, thank you, they will get points for their academic mastery on iLearn specifically, so that is that state standardized assessment that every student 3rd through 8th grade must take. And so students will get generalized points for that, and I'll tell you about the grading scale in a moment. In addition to that, they will get points or can receive points for a passing iRead score. And so although they're, again, it's kindergarten through 3rd, if they're in 3rd grade, they can, in addition to those standardized assessments, get iRead, as well as accelerated, so not just looking at do they pass, but do they also grow. There will also be points for regular school attendance, and for our English language learners, if they take WICA, that specific assessment, they will get points for that. So they'll take those, and for each student, they will have a scorecard with all of those points that they would have achieved, and then they will take the average of those scores, and that school will get an overall score. Any questions before I keep going? Okay. And then 4th through 6th, very similar to our early grades. They will get a score for ELA and math for iLearn, but as you can see, the knowledge, skills, and experiences has expanded just a tad. So students can still get that points or those points for iRead, but also because in our 4th grade, they take science, and then we also have social studies, they will get points for that as well. The WIDA scores as well, regular school attendance, also looking at that growth. So not just looking at student proficiency, meaning on grade level. If a student was at one level the previous year and then grew the next year, they can get points for that as well. And then moving towards that proficiency, right? I won't go through all of these, you guys have it so you can continue to read through, but what I do want to highlight is that in 7th grade, they don't have as many experiences, and particularly it's on the front side still, because one of their major point opportunities is completing a graduation plan in 7th grade. And so what IDOE wants is that students begin to think about long-term plans in 7th grade, and schools are now required to ensure that that graduation plan happens in 7th grade and is documented so that we can begin to track with students as they enter into high school. So that's a really big point for 7th grade in particular only. Again, you can see 9th and 10th and 11th and 12th on the back. And it highlights when they get to the 11th and 12th grade, there's a strong focus on ensuring that our students have work-based learning opportunities, that they have opportunities to take AP or IB courses, CTE, dual credit, Cambridge, which is also another opportunity that's available, and so on and so forth. But this is where we're moving in the future for our A through F. You can keep going for me. And so the initial grading scale, which will happen this year, looks like a traditional school grading scale. You see the letters F through A through F, and then the number indicator for those. So for this year, and then the years after, it would increase by 2.5% depending on the overall average this year. For an A, you would need between an 85 and a 100. For B, between 75 and 84.9, so on and so forth. Any school that has less than 54.9 will receive an F for that year. Keep in mind, each student score will count to the overall school score. So they take that average, which is really positive because we know our students have to grow. And so we get points for growth, attendance, so on and so forth. So it's just not that standardized assessment, and our students might not quite be there just yet. As you can see on the bottom, it says to ensure rigor continues, if 25% of the schools earn an A in the first year, the grading scale will increase by 2.5, with the goal of it finally getting to that 10-point range, 90 to 100, and so on and so forth in the years to come. So this initial year, we will receive a letter grade this year, but we are held harmless. This is really just a year to see how we would fare. And then for the 26-27 school year, that's where the report card will be a factual grade. So they will be looking at how we do this year to determine what our letter grade will be. We anticipate getting that grade towards the end of December of this year. And so I just wanted to reiterate, those points will be calculated by first how they did on those standardized assessments, and then how they perform in those other areas, knowledge, skills, or experiences, depending on their particular grade level. Questions?
Do you, can you share, or do you know how the points will be earned per grade level? How would we know? Is it based on, well, how would we know? I don't see any really defining ways to determine how an individual will score.
So if you can go back, Crystal, to
especially for the elementary grade levels.
So if we start here, so for example, if I take iLearn, ELA, I will get points. If you can go to the next slide for me. Those points, one more, yep. You will get an 80, 85, 75. You will get a score for that assessment from this initial grading scale. So imagine you took a math test, your teacher gives you a letter grade.
So individually, you would get a point score.
A point score. And if you can go back again, Crystal, for me. Then they will get additional points for knowledge, skills, or experience. So let's just say you are a third grader and you additionally pass iRead, you will get points for that. That point range is dependent upon that grading scale, okay? And then also, let's say you come to school 95% or better, you will get certain points for that. Does that make sense? Yes. Then they will take that average, so you'll get a total score. Let's say, I'm doing the math, I didn't add it up. Let's say it's 200 points. You got 200 points, you got 200 points. They're gonna put all of those 200s together and take the average. And then from there, that's going to be the school's letter grade.
Okay, so my next question would be, can we use that formula to look at how we would have been graded under this system last year?
Can you ask that one more time? So
can we use the system that you're articulating about how the points are determined based on our students' performance last year and see how they would have performed on this scale?
So 24, 25 school years? We probably could.
I just would like to have some type of idea going in how our performance was under this scale, and then what we need to do to get to the goal where we want to be as an A this year.
It would take some time, but we probably could. So we're gonna get a grade for this school year for certain. Yeah, so for the 25-26 school year, we will get one after all of the assessments are done, and they go through the rigorous process of evaluating each student. It's tentatively supposed to be in December. That's a great question.
Go ahead.
Is that grade going to include the academic mastery plus the additional?
Yes.
Okay. And then is that like, is each student given a grade 1 through 100?
Each student will get a scorecard.
Okay. With points?
With points, yes.
1 through?
Can you go to that slide, Crystal? And I could have put a sample in here, but, cause it gets a little hazy, you kinda need to see it, but I didn't want
Can I
to.
speak to it for just
Yes,
a
go
moment? They're asking valid questions, but as somebody who's had to deal with this more intensely, there's a lot of other caveats. For example, students need to be our students for 162 days.
Yes.
They have to be here and test. For example, we just completed IREAD, and I'm gonna thank parents later for our students showing up and showing out. I'm glad we had great attendance. But with that being said, we also have some students who are no longer with us. Initially, the state would count those and that would be a hit for us. But then we would have to prove they were here for 162 days. However, they moved away, they withdrew, and we should be held harmless because they're not here. So I'm trying to say that there are other factors. When you get into the wash, sometimes you can initially get a belief and then you realize, oh, you know, districts have gotten excited, like my school building is a B or what have you. Then they realize, not really, because 25 of your students don't count for you because they weren't here for 162 days. They might not even count for another school because they might have not been there. We have a lot of, in our school district and in others as well, there's a lot of trans mobility and, between school districts. So there is a lot that goes into it. We can try and do it, but we can't tell you that it would be 100% because another district would say, well, no, they were with us for 162 days, or none of us get to claim them. And it's really bad, like when a child does well and they pass, you think you can claim it because they tested in your school district, but you can't claim it.
So we almost have to wait till it comes out in the wash, because they look at all of those details.
But we're happy to try.
Yes.
I guess this just speaks to what you just shared, Dr. Stokes. Did the state provide training on this, and how did they kick this off?
So we actually, when this first came out, and I understand it just literally passed. It was supposed to have passed some time ago, but when you're trying to get something right, you don't always rush it. So kudos to the state for trying to just not rush it. I believe it still has to go to the, to the Attorney General. He still has to agree, and I know that there's been some conversation about that. However, to answer your question, they gave us some guidance, which we shared. If you remember, we had Carl come in at one point and we talked about this some time ago last year. That was the guidance we had. They had some sessions. We talked about professional development for central office staff. We sent our team to some professional development to get a better understanding. But will I say we were 100% certain on what they're requiring? Absolutely not. I think many of us are still in the process of trying to unfold and swallow what they're asking of us.
Yeah, it's very nuanced, so, we're gonna continue. Like, there's another session April the 8th that we're planning to attend at, Lake Central High School, just to keep digging into it, because as it's unfolding, they make it a little bit more clear each and every time we sit and listen to it. So we're gonna keep engaging with it and making sense of it and starting. We wanted to make sure that you were aware that it was at least approved, and that this is coming so that we can be in the forefront of the learning and the implementation.
So is this a Indiana thing, or is there a trend going across the country?
Currently, Indiana's a trailblazer in this, and Dr. Jenner actually spoke about that at that board meeting, that other districts are now looking at what Indiana has done to be so robust in its school evaluation.
I believe the goal is to look at not just one assessment in time, but the whole child. Are they growing, and CTE certifications, things of that nature, they all weigh in. So how are we developing our children for post-secondary education as well as education while they're with us K through 12, or pre-K, I should say, through 12.
I really like the aspect of measuring the child's growth. I'm just wondering, do we need to relook at our process so that we spend more time on individual growth as opposed to grade level or classroom growth?
I think it's a combination. It's a balance between the two. So we always want to ensure that students are exposed to grade level content, right? We want them ready to compete against their peers, right, from a national norm standpoint. But what we also know is true is that small group instruction and individualized instruction is just as critical, because we all have different needs and modalities of learning needs and things of that nature. And so there's a balance between the two in the classroom for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 7.2, Athletic Department.
Good evening, Dr. Stokes, members of the board, our awesome audience here today. I want to take a little time to celebrate our students and their great accomplishments within our athletic department. I'm Nick Conley, and I'm the athletic director for Gary Community Schools. My assistant, Jeray Peralta-Guider, is with the track team down in Purdue right now, running in the track team. Introduce ourselves. When I came here 60 years ago, it was a big agenda of mine to rebrand the schools as Cougars. We were losing too many kids to other districts, to other schools, to charter schools. We thought, let's make everybody a Cougar. You see the elementary Cougar, kind of like the baby-faced Cougar, and then they grow into a full-fledged Cougar. We think that's really taken off well, especially having our elementary and middle schools playing games at Westside High School. This season started off with our football team. This group will graduate with the winningest 4-year record of any team in Westside history. Their GPA rose about 1 point from 4 years ago. We did the photo shoot at the, as you can see, at the airport, and really the kids absolutely loved it. Bounced around the school for a couple days after that. For the first time in 13 years, the IHSA ping pong balls gave us a home game in the sectionals, which was awesome. We played Kankakee Valley, came up a little short. The week before, we beat arch rival Calumet 36-0 in a crowd that was amazing. It was our homecoming senior night. It really was a great festive atmosphere. They really had a lot of great Cougar pride. This group has been a very special group to Westside High School. Another special group, first year ever, girls flag football. I know I was a little skeptical about it when we first started. What's girls flag football? I tell you what, it's blowing up. Girls are getting scholarships for it now. We've had college coaches calling about our girls. We partnered with the Colts. Maybe we'll be partnering with the Bears soon. Let's see. Which would be my preference. But anyway, the girls had an amazing year. Coach Hoskins, one of our teachers at the elementaries at McCullough, did a great job coaching them. A lot of great team spirit, a lot of success, and we look for that program to continue to expand. Also, another new program, girls wrestling. The girls got into it this year. They've wrestled as individuals before, but we didn't have a girls wrestling team. Now we have a girls wrestling team. We had 5 students compete. 2 of them went into sectionals with undefeated records. Well, a little short, but we really did a great job. Coach Alex Carter Sr. Coaching both those teams did an amazing job for our Cougars and Lady Cougars. The boys wrestling team, we had a sectional champion, Dante Bird, went to the regional. 2 other regional qualifiers for Kavion Booth and Kamari Loggins. Kamari's a 4-sport athlete, would probably be 6 or 7 sport if we let him. So there was a great group of kids that Coach had, and they had an amazing year on the wrestling. Our wrestling is really rising as we speak. Our head coach involvement in middle school hiring and training. One thing I wanted to do is have our head coaches stamp on all our programs at every level. We have to. You want your teams running the same plays, having the same expectations, how you come out of the locker room, how you handle yourself with officials, how you handle yourself with opponents. And if our high school coaches are teaching that to the middle school coaches, the elementary coaches on down, that's when we'll have success, and also build a bridge to keep kids at Westside High School. Middle school opener, we had a lot of fun this year. We had the Cougar versus Cougar game, Bailey versus GMS. Was probably like our 3rd biggest crowd over a lot of the high school games. It was a great atmosphere, and the game was won at the buzzer as the ball went through the hoop with 0 on the clock. So Look forward to doing more and more of that as we move forward. We're always looking to expand our community presence. We have a photographer, Jerome Lynch, does a great job. If you come into the gym, you'll see those banners at any given time. And we want to get those posted throughout the city, social media, websites, and celebrate all these individual achievements and team achievements, obviously, as we move forward. A lot of these kids have college opportunities afforded to them, and that's what I'm most proud of, because a lot of these kids move on to the college level, and our coaches do an amazing job of getting our kids ready to play at the college level and affording them opportunities they otherwise wouldn't have. This year we got to host the boys sectional for the first time since 2021, which was the COVID year, which really wasn't a big crowd. Boy, we had a nice crowd out there. It was a lot of work. Mr. Faison, our new security director, jumped right in on his first foray here at Gary Community Schools. Did a great job of helping us navigate through the security. The sessions were a hit. The hospitality room, I think several people in here hit the hospitality room a few times. I know I did, as a fat guy likes to eat. So it was a great atmosphere. We got a lot of compliments from the opposing schools, the media, the IHSA people. The referees loved it, probably a little too much, because they couldn't move real well by the end of the weekend. But it was a great sectional. Look forward to hosting it in the near future. We're going to work on some of our athletic apparel merchandise. We have some of the online stores available. And we're going to have a big, huge order as we come forward here in between the winter and spring seasons as far as having in-house merchandise. The feeder programs, looking to do a lot of camps again this summer, getting our kids involved. Community engagement, I'm working with several former Major League players that are Gary graduates and helping us organize some opportunities for those kids. And then, as always, it's social media explodes. We're trying to get bigger. We're looking at a possible deal on live stream all our athletic events. And, you know, I don't know if we'll make a lot of money doing it or lose money. We're trying to explore every option we can to get our kids exposure. It's not only grandpa and grandma in Florida, college recruiters in North Dakota, California, wherever it may be. The more we get our kids out, the better it is for them to get more exposure. What's happening now? There's no pause. We keep going. Winter sports are done. Track and field, like I said, they're down at Purdue right now running in a meet. Last season, our girls 4x400 relay team finished third in the state. 3 of those 4 girls are back, so we have high expectations. Priscilla Burton won the regional title in the 400-meter dash as a sophomore. Several other state qualifiers back. Tennis, baseball, softball are also underway, and we're excited to see their growth and success as we move forward throughout the spring. This is what I'm most proud of. Just looking back, I had an AD call me the other day, said, "You're so lucky you had 2 kids playing on TV." I guess I took for granted the success of our kids. And Layla Pre-Radney, an amazing story, sophomore Ball State, 4th fastest hurdler in Ball State history in her first meet there. Won a match. Outstanding young lady. Sean Christmas, I stayed up till about midnight watching him play on TV last night. And Jalen Washington, who earned his bachelor's degree from North Carolina, is almost already done with his master's degree from Vanderbilt, and he'll be all our bosses someday, because he's a CEO kind of guy. He was the class salutatorian here at Westside in 2022, so outstanding young man. And on the right is what we like to do when any of our students sign to play in college, is have the amazing studio that Mark Spencer, their group, have the studio over there. Bring the families in, videotape it, take pictures, and celebrate everything we can. Because sometimes we don't have a lot to celebrate. Some negatives can take over at times. But when we have somebody do something good, let's celebrate it. And we really enjoy celebrating our student athletes. In conclusion, I just hope we continue to have a common vision with pride, excellence, sportsmanship. We have one of the best sportsmanship scores in the state every year. And that's kudos to our coaches our kids, our leaders in the building, teachers, everybody takes a part in that. So let's invest in the future of all of us together. Any questions?
Really want to take time to thank you for this presentation. It's good information for us, so for me personally to see and hear. And I would just encourage you to continue to share and let the board know how things are going and if there's needs.
That'd be great. I'd love to keep doing that because we want this to keep going in a positive, awesome direction for our student athletes, most importantly. Anybody else?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
We'll move on to item 7.3 and 7.4, Dr. Stokes.
I'm sorry. All right, so as I've shared before, the district is diligently trying to get up to speed with our policies. In typical board meetings, you might be bringing 1, 2, or no policies to a board meeting because we are in a unique situation after state takeover. We often have several policies that we give to the board ahead of time so that you can review and look at them. So this is the list of policies that we're bringing. The one thing I just want you to see in the community as well is some of these policies have been revised, and when I say revised, they've been portions of various volumes. For example, we might have what's called volume 37, number 2, it might come out in April of 2025, or you might have other various volumes that come out in July. We will get new volumes that come out again this July as the laws change, policies change, and therefore then we try to bring them forward. So I want to highlight a few policies that impact some of the things we talked about. For example, policy 2131, it is titled Educational Outcomes for Students. And in that particular policy, it's speaking to some of the things that we want for various topics that will impact our letter grade. For example, for example, it talks about communication and collaboration skills, and it speaks to students being able to efficiently solve real-life problems, things of that nature. There's another section that talks about just general education, them having sufficient fundamental knowledge and skills in traditional subjects, as we know, like art, music, PE, things of that nature, English, math, so on and so forth. It has a pride and ethics session where they have to demonstrate work based on realistic assessments of higher ability and accomplishments. It has a section on integration and cooperation. I could go on, but there are many sections under that particular policy. Another one that I wanted to talk about is, I'm trying to give examples of revise, rescinded, and replace. There was a policy 2131, which was the educational outcomes. The former, it's of course been rescinded because we are having the new policy. Another one is under curriculum development, for example, 2210, it's been revised. And part of why it has been revised is because it gave districts the option to choose whether we wanted programs to be particular to one particular school building or to multiple. Of course, we chose to have it open-ended for us. We don't want to be streamlined to just having a program in one building if we need it to spread out to other buildings. Oftentimes that impacts our students, like in special populations and things of that nature, or gifted programs, things of that nature. Another one that I want to highlight is about assessment. As we all know, I believe it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Treadwell, because my mind is moving quickly, but I believe, was it last year or the year before that was the first year that if students didn't pass IRE 3, they had to be retained? So last year, okay. So things like that under student assessment, they talk about IRE 3 and, you know, how parents can appeal if their child is considered to not pass, and maybe where it's saying that they have to be retained. There are waivers that they could get, various things that they could do. It talks about that particular process and how we support parents, how we support exemptions for English language learners, and mathematics screeners and things of that nature. So that is a policy. And one other policy that I wanted to talk about a little bit, it's the policy that deals with, it was revised and it deals with determining legal settlement and eligibility for enrollment of students without legal settlement in our corporation. Proof of Indiana residency basically is what it's speaking about. And I don't know if I said this at the last board meeting, but I have said it in some of my discussions with leaders and senators. Districts that border other states, such as Indiana, sometimes we do have issues with students who don't necessarily live in Indiana, but they might live in like Illinois, for example. We don't necessarily get money for those students if they don't live in the state of Indiana. So there are some residency things that we try to do, not, that we don't trust our parents, but there are residency things we have to do to make sure that they're legally settled in our state. And with that, I yield back to Board President Suggs.
Thank you, Dr. Stokes. We also have item 7.4.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to the podium for that.
Thank you.
Okay, acronyms are here. GCSE, what does that stand for, everybody? I should be asking my board. What does GCSE stand for?
Gary Community School Corporation.
Wonderful, you get an A+. With that being said, this is important to me. We're calling this the GCSE Knowledge Seekers. And if you ask me why we are calling this, and those of you who have your phones, if you want to scan the code, you can. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what GCSE Knowledge Seekers is. And then once they scan, we'll give a minute and we can go to the next slide after that. So 30 seconds. Okay. Next slide, please. So GCSE Knowledge Seekers is basically a proposal of mine as the superintendent. And what it is basically, I listen to my board, I listen to our stakeholders, I listen to our community, and I listen to my internal teachers, staff, and students. And what I have come to understand, right, wrong, or indifferent, so I own this, it's my own. I have come to realize that there is a lot about supporting Gary Community Schools and public education that many of us are either not clear on, a little fuzzy on, or maybe we know a lot, but we might want more information. So what I am proposing, and understand this isn't necessarily new to me, I've done this in other districts. What I am proposing is to have what I'm calling two cohorts, a cohort A and a cohort B. And essentially, our job is to put out a Google Doc whereby citizens, community members, people who want to support our district can understand more about what we do in Gary Community Schools regarding specific topics. So let me give you those topics. For example, these sessions will run for 8 months, from May to December, with a graduation ceremony in December. And the cohorts, as you see, would talk about, like May 20th, we have an 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then we have a cohort B, which starts at 4:45 to 6:45. And basically, we want to talk about, for example, school finance. We've heard a lot about money and budgeting, and what I find is that oftentimes when people talk about our internal processes about why and how we handle money, there's not a clear understanding of public education and why we do what we want to do. So my job, it's not necessarily for you to agree or disagree with how we handle finances, but for you to understand the why behind why we do what we do, the accountability behind what we do what we do. For example, I don't understand some things that are not in my field house. I'm not a doctor, so there my daughter is. There may be things that I don't understand that she is a doctor of pharmacy can explain to me. So I consider myself somewhat an expert in public education. I've been in it for 30 plus years. So with that being said, we want to talk a little bit about school finance in our first session and board governance. People might want to understand, well, why do we move money from one fund to another fund? Well, there's a reason for that. Why can't I spend money out of this fund for this particular activity? There is a reason for that, because there are laws that govern it. So that's what we want to be able to do. And as you see, we've got school finance, board governance, we've then got academic priorities, things like what Dr. Treadwell just shared. She would talk about those kind of things and the accountability from the state. Why do we have to use a particular curriculum, science of reading? Because the state says that we are required to do X, Y, Z, and we now even have science, math, which will be coming forward, the science of math. So we'll talk about things like that. Human resources support. Well, why is it that I cannot share with the general public somebody's personnel information, where there are legal reasons around why we cannot share with everyone things that go on with our staff members? There are guardrails around that legally. So we talk about things like that. Operations. You want to understand more about transportation? Well, why do we have to have so many buses? Well, Gary Community Schools sits in, what is it, 52 or 53 square miles? We are a large district. We can't have a walk zone that's that big. Well, can we save money on transportation? We have to outsource it, or we have to do it. We talk about all these things, food service, building grounds and maintenance. Well, why is it that in our operations fund, we transfer money from the education fund, the 15%, over to the operations fund? Well, if you look at our operations fund, some of that money is based on the collection of tax money. And I think we collect around 53%, somewhere around there. We don't collect all our money, but at the same time, we've got aging buildings. We have to be able to support the buildings. If something happens in the building, the HVAC system goes out, we've got to be able to fix it. We can't say we have no money to fix it. So we talk about things like that. Special populations. What is special populations? Well, it's our students in our special education programs that we support. And we talk a little bit about what is an IEP, why do we have to support it, things of that nature. Our athletics, you just heard Hank talk a little bit about that, and he referenced security. Why do we have to have security? Why do we have athletics? Security is very much a requirement because kids can't learn if they don't feel safe, but it's incumbent on all of us, students alike, parents alike, community members, to help us stay safe. We talk then about technology. We all know we're in the technology age. We often say our kids know more about technology than we do, but we talk about what are the state requirements around safetiness when it comes to technology and supports and resources that we need to further support our mission of educating students. We talk about policies. I just talked to you a little bit about some policies that have changed, and policies change often based on Indiana code, and we have to stay in front of that. We will also talk about building level supports, and that will be our culminating activity where we have building leaders come in. That will be in December, as you see. It will be a combined cohort. Both cohorts will be there. We will talk about policies. We will talk about building level supports and volunteerism. And what we will do after we talk about that for probably at that time about an hour, we then want to use the last hour to have a graduation for our cohorts, and then to allow them to then go out and talk to each of the school reps. We'll have our school buildings there and talk about how they can support. So essentially what I'm seeking to do is to help our community better understand why we do what we do. I'm not necessarily asking you to agree or disagree, but you do need to understand the why behind how we operate. So with this, we're calling it the GCS, the Knowledge Seekers. We actually have, if you can come up for me, please. We actually have information that I want Chelsea to share about how you can access the application. We're asking for a commitment. So if you're going to access our application to do either cohort A or cohort B, there again, cohort A, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., because we wanted to help those who work in the evening, and then for those who work during the day, 4:45 to 6:45, we're asking you to make a commitment because we actually will feed you at these events. And we want 15 in each cohort. We give a total of 30. And I know this will go well, and we'll reset the cohort and start again next January after the first 2 cohorts go through. Can you share how they can get connected?
Thank you, Dr. Stokes. The link is now live for knowledge seekers at the following QR code that is posted here on our presentation, but it is also live on our website. You can go to GarySchools.org. Again, that is GarySchools.org. We also have hard copies of what you just spoke about to pass out to audience members tonight. And there is an email address affiliated with the entire project, our general info box. If you have questions or have trouble accessing the link, we ask that you send us an email at info@garycs.k12.in.us. I'll repeat that, info@garycs.k12.in.us. And now that it has been made public as an initiative, we will move to our second phase of promotion, which would include social media posts, e-blasts, robocalls, text messages, and we'll also craft a press release to send to the media so that they can give us that extra boost of promoting this opportunity. The deadline to submit your online application is Friday, April 3rd, 2026, 5 p.m. Again, the deadline is Friday, April 3rd, 2026 at 5 p.m.
Can you speak a little bit about the fact that there are, is it 5 questions that we have that they will need to answer? Can you talk about that?
One other part, that question may arise, thank you, Dr. Stokes, that who's gonna review the applications? And so the applications will be reviewed and cohort participants will be selected by our superintendent and leadership team of chiefs. There are a total of 5 questions that must be answered. The application must be complete in order to be considered. And the questions range in a variety of areas that will help the team gauge the individual's interests and qualifications to be a part of said cohorts.
And by qualifications, what we really mean is, why do you want to be a part of it? Everybody's qualified, but why do you want to be a part of it? And so we just want to understand that you have a passion to truly help Gary Community Schools. That's our ultimate goal.
And also, hopefully to retain some advocates, some message holders as they seek the knowledge, they share the knowledge with their various networks so that we can further communicate our transparency and our daily mission for children.
Thank you.
Who are the stakeholders?
So by stakeholders, you're a stakeholder. By stakeholders, we really mean people who are in our community, in our schools, in our churches, our libraries, our families, people who support Gary Community Schools, live and are around us, and want to know more about why we do what we do. We often hear the word transparency thrown around. The reality is, what does transparency look like, sound like, and feel like? For me, it's this. So this is why I want you to know this.
Thank you.
Just want to applaud the effort going into this GCSC Knowledge Seekers. I think it's a great opportunity to share and give kind of an inside view and perspective on what's going on in Gary Schools. This is exactly how Ms. Chelsea just shared, a way to build advocates, and advocates can share within their span of influence so that people will get a clear understanding of what we're doing and how we're succeeding. So I just want to thank you for this effort, and I eagerly wait to see how it turns out. Any other comments?
Yeah, yes, thank you. Superintendent, just you said that you had did this before, was it successful?
It was,
Okay.
and they actually
Well,
became ambassadors for the school district.
That's wonderful. Also, when you do this, are they just learning or are they contributing, and would any of their ideas then be, taken up by yourself or by the board? And I asked that question because, and it wasn't you, but whenever the referendum was first passed, and then there was, oh, we're gonna do these referendum ambassadors, and I went to these meetings and we talked about all this stuff, and we had all these great ideas, and then nothing happened. So
that's a fair question, and thank you for asking. One of the questions we actually ask deals with how they would contribute with discussion in the group, because this is 2 hours. There's a lot that we can say, and I know myself, I talk fast, so if I'm ever talking too fast, you guys can slow me down. But there's a lot of information that unfolds, but we do want to give them time to ask a question if they don't understand something. But as I said, this is more about helping our community or stakeholders better understand why we do what we do, what the law says, how we pivot when we need to pivot, and things that are going on. There's a whole lot that people don't know necessarily about why we can't just, spend $200 million in a particular school. There are reasons around it, why we have bond payments or why we have to pay common school loans. There are things that I don't think people understand, but more importantly, to your question, there is a time built in where people get to ask questions. We ask them to partner and talk to your partner. If you face this situation, what would you do? So we do get some of their input, but it's mostly about information, but yes, we get some good ideas and we can move those ideas forward.
Is that the intention?
The intention is to, first and foremost, educate. But a sidebar and an extension and a great asset of doing this is that we will get some information from our community.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Stokes. Item 8 on our agenda is administrative report, and we've shared already that Ms. Zaborowski is at a session, so she's not available. Now it's item number 9, board member comments, and I would like to open the floor up for board members to make a statement or share a comment.
I do have a comment.
I am so sorry, I apologize. Can we stop for just a moment? We missed a very, very important step. Kenny Smith, are you here? Please come forward. Chris, can you go back, Crystal? I'm sorry, but with the information we shared during the consent agenda, we literally forgot to acknowledge our new director. So I want to do that at this time. I'm so sorry.
So no, I'm not Linda, but I did want to read a statement in her absence. She did ask that I share a few remarks regarding Kenny Smith. Unfortunately, she was not able to be here this evening, but she wanted the board to know how meaningful this moment is for our district. Kenny has dedicated many years of his life to serving the Gary Community School Corporation, and over that time, he has earned the trust and respect of the people he works with every day. When someone gives that much of their career to a district, it speaks not only to their work ethic, but also to the pride they take in the schools and the community they serve. Kenny understands what it means to take care of our schools. He knows how important our buildings and grounds are to the students and staff who use them every day, and he takes that responsibility seriously. Over the years, he has proven himself to be someone people can rely on and someone who takes pride in making sure our schools are safe, functional, and well-maintained. I am truly grateful that Kenny accepted this position, and I'm excited about the leadership he will bring to this role. This position carries a great deal of responsibility, and I have every confidence that Kenny will guide this department with the same dedication, pride, and steady leadership he has shown throughout his career. I look forward to the work we will accomplish together as we continue supporting our schools in this community. Congratulations, Kenny.
Board members? Yes.
Well, first I'd start off by saying congratulations and welcome, Mr. Smith. We're pleased to have you. But secondly, I wanted to also make mention of all of the students that were acknowledged today with the Gary Ready snapshots. We're so proud of them, and especially those with the Steel City Knowledge Bowl, because we talked about that last time, and just really happy that they were able to bring it on home. So very happy about that. And then I do want to say to Dr. Stokes, kudos for your new initiative, and make sure that I get the name right, GCSC Knowledge Seekers, because oftentimes we don't always have all of the information that we need to have in order to understand and contribute in a very positive way to what we expect as outcomes for the Gary Community School Corporation. And so I think that the public would really like to have that information, and I think that by having that information, it allows us to ask more informed questions about the direction in which we're going and why we're going in that direction. So this is just something I just think you should be applauded for, because you always talk about being transparent, and this is a very good way for that to occur.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I just want to say I'm very happy with all the positive news that was shared today about our students, staff, faculty. And in addition to that, I am looking forward to our board retreat that we'll have at the end of this month, so we can all be on the same page, as a whole moving forward. Not that we'll always agree, but that we'll have the training that's necessary to move forward in the district. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. I do have comments, like usual. First I want to say, I neglected to say at the last meeting, which I should have said, and I thought about it right at first, where was my mind at? But I just want to say, rest in power, rest in heaven to the Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr. Not junior, he's senior. So I just want to say that I kicked myself afterwards that I didn't acknowledge and send blessings to our hero. Also, I want to say that the what do they call her? The biddy team. They are in the championship and they are leaving today from the Hudson Campbell Center at, I'm sorry, I just had it. They are leaving from the Hudson Campbell Center at 7 o'clock, and they ask that people come out and support them. So this is the Steel City Biddy Basketball, and this is the, I want to say 10U, 12U, don't give me the line, I don't want to get to misquoting what I should be saying here, but they are going, okay, so it's 10U, 12U, and 14U. And so tonight, the 10U, 12U, and 14U are National Biddy Basketball World Tournament. They're going to it in Louisiana. They are boarding from Hudson Campbell. They asked that we come out at 7:30 to support them. So I just wanted to announce that. And I want to say congratulations to those young athletes. We love to see our youth doing things positive. So that's a really good thing. Also, I wanted to say in terms of the last meeting that we were at, when we had the discussion that the superintendent just brought up about moving things from the consent agenda and transferring funds. So if the community remembers, on the last meeting, I wanted removed from the consent agenda so we could discuss the transfers from the education fund to the operations fund, which was resolution 23, and that was to transfer up to 15% in 2026 from the education fund to the operation fund. And so I did some research on that, and I just want to share it with you all. So what that is that the law allows the corporation, the superintendent, the administration, they can transfer up to 15% of annual education fund to the operations fund. That must be approved by the board, and that is only to pay, may pay for only non-instructional costs. And so if it's over 15%, the Indiana Department of Education and Monitoring, it'll trigger a notice to them. And so ideally it says up to 15%. So I'm thinking in my mind that what it is that you come and say, hey, I need this much, or hey, I need that much, but we did it all in one fell swoop, the whole 15%. So it's not gonna be coming back, so we won't be keeping abreast on what it is, how much, it's just already done. So there won't be any discussions going forward, in terms of when they're dipping into that 15%. Or maybe it would when Linda gets up here, but, so the education fund budget is about $36.2 million. So that makes the maximum legal transfer at 15% about $5.43 million. And so that's from the education fund to the operations fund. And the education fund is funded mainly by state tuition support. Correct me if I'm wrong. It pays for instruction as teachers, classroom supplies, and academic programs. And right now we have healthy reserves. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong. The operations fund is what's funded mainly by local property taxes, and so that's where those tax caps that they discussed hit us at. Also, there's some new legislation coming down in terms of the additional taxes that are going to go back to the taxpayer, not to the community, to the corporation. But this is for non-instructional costs, which are the buses, the buildings, utilities, maintenance, support staff. And that fund is more financially strained because, property tax caps limited, and then those are the prices, the money that comes that's needed for these aging buildings that we have. I know, since I've been on the board, there was a water break. There was, just 2 days ago or something, there was a reformer went out, yeah, HVAC. So for old buildings, you're gonna have to pay for maintenance, that's it. And so also, when you think about fixed costs and you think what the superintendent was just saying about the buses, well, we have this thing going on in the Middle East, and how much is the gas about to start costing us? And so I think that's something we should think about, and may require more transfers from the education fund to the operations fund. But that's something we should keep our eyes on, because of course we want as much money as possible going towards the education. So you may hear that, oh, Gary spends $15,000 a student, and it seems like, oh, we spend more than Munster may spend a student. Well, our money is going towards fixing these old buildings and so forth. And so when you think about the health of this corporation going forward, our budget has been stable, but we need to think about what we're going to do, because in terms of enrollment, I know that there was another charter school, I believe, that's coming. Phelan, that's coming online, so that may take even more students from us. So I think that what this board needs to do is start thinking about how are we going to be the go-to place for our community to want to come to our school corporation, because right now the vast majority of students in Gary don't come to Gary Community School Corp. It's about 2/3 that are going to other places. And so how do we get them back here? So Attorney Tracy Coleman used to always, for years, have this discussion about building a field house and having somewhere like a state-of-the-art place for kids to play sports at, and that it would attract people into the city. And I think not to the city, but into the school corp. So I just would hope that this board start thinking outside of the box and start having the discussions, because it's gonna be time again where we're gonna maybe decide that we wanna go out and ask the community for more money, so they should know what our vision is, what it is that we're doing to attract people to our school corporation. I think that, and this is just a thought that I'm thinking during my comments right now, that if we would maybe make Westside a flagship high school, that it would have state-of-the-art training for, like here in the Career Center, but maybe on the campus, and maybe right here with Mr. Suggs, who works for the city. Maybe the city would want to give us Ivanhoe. We could build something over there big. Is Ivanhoe, right? Remember? Okay. Something over there with the high school that we send out a bond and we do some new building, and we have something state-of-the-art, nice and new for students that people want to come in to go to Westside, and we could attract more students. Right now, our academic performance ranks at the bottom of Indiana. I think that us here on this board and in this room, we can make a dent in that. We could change that around, but I think that we need to have the energy to do it. And when I talk about the energy to do it, which just made me think of something else, the students and their energy, when they didn't like what was going on, I thought that was wonderful. And I thought that that should have been not shut down, because we want their energy. We want them to care. It may not mean that they're gonna change anything that's gonna happen, but they should be heard. I think that they should organize around that energy. They should tell us what they want. They should tell us what they need, and we should make it happen. But so we just need to harness the love for Gary that is here for amongst the citizens, that's amongst the students energy that they have right now, that they are caring about what's going on in their school. When we shut them down, the only thing that happens is the next thing is, I'm just gonna leave. They won't even listen to me. So I just think that we should make a collective effort to support the students when they are expressing how they feel to us, and harness that energy into something positive for Westside High School, for all the schools. And also, last thing before I shut up, I just want to say that at the last meeting, I had asked if we did individual school budgets, and the answer was no. I just think that it would be important if we did maybe do individual school budgets, because it may come to a point if enrollment is declining, if that's the trend, and I hope that is not the trend, that we decided maybe we need to close this school building, you know, or maybe it makes sense to consolidate over here. And if we could see the average daily members at each school and what's supporting each school, then I think that that would be a positive thing. Also, it would help you like just kind of visualize or see if it's like, okay, each school has a budget and this school has a budget of, I don't know, $100,000 for the water bill a month. That may be excessive, but who knows with Gary, right? But no, I'm playing there. But if the school, if it's $100,000 for the water bill, and you're looking at it and you're saying, oh wow, why is it up to 200? But now you found the leak because you're looking, you got individual budgets. So I just feel that it would be a good idea if we did break it down that way. Even though we're not, I think it would be a good idea. So I just wanted to say that, and I have very high hopes for the city of Gary and for the Gary Community School Corporation. And with our city coming back, I just think it's important that we have, it would be nice to have a flagship school that's bright, shiny, attractive, new, and providing the needs of our students, to have the students want and be excited to come to Gary Community School Corporation and not one of the charters. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? Just want to quickly thank you all for taking time out of your day to show your passion for Gary Community Schools. I want to thank Dr. Stokes and her staff for continuing to raise the bar. We know things are getting better, and we have expectations of great results. I also want to thank my fellow board members. It doesn't take you long if you're sitting in this room to understand that people are here with their heart and their desire to make things better, and I applaud that effort. And I too look forward to our board retreat coming at the end of the month. So certainly when you move together as a fist, you're more better than a person pointing their finger. So I think we're going to be a fantastic board, and we're going to do great things. Dr. Stokes, would you follow on, please?
I will. Thank you so much. Crystal, next slide, please. I wanted to read something that Shavette Grady sent out from the Special Populations Department. She is our director. It's to our social workers. This is Social Worker Month, and sometimes people behind the scene go unnoticed. So she wanted to just dedicate this to them and just say thank you for your compassion, advocacy, and unwavering commitment to those who often go unheard. You serve special populations with patience, respect, and genuine care, ensuring that every individual is treated with dignity. Your support brings comfort in difficult moments, guides through complex systems, and hopes when it's needed most. The difference you make may not always be visible, but it is deeply felt in the lives and families you touch. With sincere gratitude, Shavette Grady and the Special Populations Department. I thank her for that because my team often hears me say, how you show up matters. How you show up matters. And at the end of the day, we can agree to disagree. Social workers oftentimes will have family, sometimes even students that may not always agree with them, but how they show up matters in those moments. I also want to go on to our next slide and just say Happy National Nutrition Month. For those of us who always talk about getting in shape and having better nutrition, well, guess what? This is a great month to start. Happy National Nutrition Month. Next slide. I want to thank our parents, and you heard me say this earlier. We can't do this without you. It takes you, it takes me, it takes all of us, and thank you, because Dr. Treadwell, we had almost 100% across the district. That's worth a clap, you guys. The students showing up to test for IV3. It was really, really good. I think we only had 6 students that did test, and 3 of those, I believe, actually withdrew. So that is good. Our next assessment, parents, if you're listening to me, is iLearn. So I need you to give me that same support. I'm calling on you. Feed my babies, get them here on time, and have them ready to do their best on the iLearn assessment. As we all know, after tomorrow evening, we are on what? Spring break, March 16th through the 20th, and I encourage my teachers, my leaders, my students, please take a break, but come back refreshed and ready to learn, because there will be school after spring break. Parent-teacher conferences, this is a reminder to our parents, our parent-teacher conferences will resume Friday, March the 27th. Please, please, please make sure you have not already done so, get in contact with your school and or your teachers. And last but not least, we have our draft agenda. It is our typical order of operations with our draft agenda. There is nothing particular that we're going to speak to unless we get some data back from the state, and we may talk a little bit more about academics. But with that, thank you all. I appreciate you all, and I yield the floor back.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you for being here.
Can I have those flyers, or are you gonna do?
Yes, sir.